Barrel picks, private stock. We've gone over this before. We're going to go over it again. This time, a little bit different. A straight rye whiskey brought to us by the good folks of the Kansas City Whiskey Guild. If you're not a part of that group, be a part of that group. Find yourself a good Facebook group. We're also going to try a new kind of glass.
Yeah.
We're going to see how it holds up against this the classic Glencairn style. And we're going to see if there's a noticeable difference between the two.
You've seen it in our store. We've already got our t-shirts in there.
Yep.
We're looking at doing some Savor the Burn custom glasses. So we're looking at some other options, and I've been seeing this one a lot. Mm-hmm. My sister even has a set of them.
Yep.
And I had no idea, and popped up on our Blind Honey episode that we did. And I was like, wait a minute, I recognize those glasses.
Yep. So we're going to get to all of that and more in this episode of Savor the Burn. Check it out.
Let's do it.
Dun, 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 dun. I don't know why I went Pee Wee Herman with it. Welcome to this episode of the Savor the Bird podcast. My name is Jonathan. Over here is Mr. W2 Wizard Fingers. Wilkes, how do you do?
I'm excited to get into this one.
I'm excited.
Doing good.
I'm excited too. So this one came to us from the Kansas City Whiskey Guild, not by gift, but by purchase, of course.
Yeah.
And
so this last month, the liquor store that they partner with to do their store picks is Santa Fe Liquor, which is located, if you jump off of I-35 and head east on 87th Street, 87th Street kind of splits and becomes, you got to go this way to go to 87th Street, or if you continue on, it becomes Santa Fe.
Yeah.
Right after that split, in the little strip mall there's Santa Fe Liquors. Mm-hmm. And great people in there, great selection in there. Mm-hmm. And they had their Fe Fest.
Fe Fest.
F-E, Santa Fe Fest.
Not like fairies. Like
Right.
But Fe, F-E, not F-A-E.
Yeah.
Never trust the Fe.
So they had that last week, and at that event, they had their previous store pick, the Filmland Moonlight Mayhem extended cut, which was amazing. We love that bottle.
If you haven't seen that episode, find it, watch it.
And then they had this bottle that was available that day, and then they also had another one, the Augusta 8, which I did not purchase, but I think I have to go back and get it.
Gonna have to, definitely.
But this bottle was, I think, technically the 2024 second guild pick. I like that instead of a store pick. Guild pick.
It's guild pick, yeah. Kansas City Whiskey Guild.
Once again, our friend from the guild, Tanner Austin, picked this one. And apparently that day, man, I can't even imagine. That day he had 6 barrels to pick.
Oh, he did all that in one day?
That's what he said.
And there's multiple barrels per pick.
Right.
Like you got a flight of like 4 or 6.
Yeah, he said
you're there to pick one of them.
He said he picked 6 barrels.
And he had 6 of them.
So does that mean he had 36 samples that day?
Maybe he got to the nose on some of them and was like, nope. And then it narrowed it down. But yeah, I mean, just because you taste it doesn't mean you have to drink it too.
Right.
I mean, he's probably switched it around, spit it out.
So we have
that's what the professionals do. And we're not professionals, we're enthusiasts.
We have a couple
there's a difference.
We have a couple store picks from Total Wine.
Yes.
That he was also part of. Those had names to them. You know, we have Wildfire. We've got Stout to Shout. Or is it Shout to Stout? Shout to Stout.
Please hold. A Shout to Stout.
Yeah. This one doesn't have a name
printed
on the label. It just says
Straight Rye
Whiskey. But I've seen him post, and I've seen a couple other people post when referring to this bottle as the hazmat bottle. And that is
this the hazmat bottle?
And that's
I
because
thought the hazmat would have been the
I mean,
fucking Wildfire. Okay.
We'll get to Wildfire.
All right.
But
I'll put quotes hazmat.
Not that this is any less or anything. It's 142.6 proof.
So
you
know what? That kind of proof with a rye.
Do you remember the first time we
It's gonna hit hot.
Do you remember the first time we did our Bookers? And I think we did a Jim Beam, or not Jim Beam.
They don't sound the same.
Try
They're
that again.
thicker.
Jim Beam. That's beautiful.
That is beautiful.
All
right, it's got 1 point against it.
It was the Jack Daniel's single barrel that we tried, and then there was a third one. There was the Bookers, there was the Jack Daniel's, and then there was
Stag Junior. Yeah.
Stag Junior. That was a great night. But anyway,
Great bottle that.
do you remember when we broke into that Bookers and we're like, oh my God, 126 proof?
Yeah, we thought it is going to take the paint off, but no.
And that Jack Daniel's, we're like, holy shit, 133 proof.
Yeah.
142.6. Let's go.
The Jack Daniels definitely slapped us in the face harder than the Bookers did.
Yeah.
But the Bookers at 126 proof, come on, like it did not drink like 126 proof. That was one of the first that we tried. That was at one of the higher proofs that just blew us away because it didn't drink that way.
Yeah.
But the more we get into this, and the more hopefully you get into this and your whiskey, bourbon, Scotch journey, you're also finding things that are higher proof, higher meaning 100 or above, and or I guess some would even say 90. Like 95 and above. Like some people wince at the thought of 80 for tavern strength, but we consider like usually at about 100 or above. We'll call that a high octane, a higher proof bottle. But hopefully you're finding some that just don't hit as hard as you would think.
Yeah.
they would.
Yeah.
What all can you tell us about the original?
You pour and I will read.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah. So, for starters, if you're not familiar with Rieger's private stock program, in 2015, we, being Rieger, began distilling Rieger's whiskey for the first time since Prohibition. As our barrels come of age, we are proud to offer the opportunity to secure your own private stock barrel of Rieger's rye or Rieger's bourbon. And currently available, they're straight bourbon whiskey or the straight rye whiskey. According to Rieger's website, the investment to get your own barrel is going to cost you about $12,500 plus tax. And the yield on that is going to be roughly 210, 750 bottles. And on average, will be aged 5 years for 210 barrels worth. That's going to be a rough 100 proof range, depending on the proof, because it's proofed to your specs. So this one, particularly being a 142.6 proof, it's going to yield, Tanner told us that yielded about 150 bottles.
Okay.
So
all right.
about $60 less than if this was proofed down a little bit. This is roughly a 5-year J. Rieger straight rye whiskey. Mm-hmm. It, I believe, is not finished in anything. It is just a straight rye whiskey. It is called, like we said, I've heard a couple people kick around the term hazmat. I don't know if that's in reference to this one or it's just hazmat is what we call our high proof whiskeys.
Yeah, it's like we said, it's 142.6 proof.
Oh.
Right.
Damn.
So far, what I've noticed on the nose between the two glasses, it's the same. So I expected something a little bit different, but
so I went ahead. I don't have any tasting notes for us to kind of have as a starting point.
We almost
here.
don't need it for these.
But what I wanted to do, because I thought it would at least be interesting to kind of be able to kind of compare and contrast between, is I pulled the tasting notes from the Rieger Bottled and Bond Straight Rye Whiskey, which is 100 proof.
Yeah.
42.6 proof less than what this is.
Right. That's the one I have back home, right?
That is the one you have back home.
Okay.
The notes on that one say it's a warm amber. The nose is aromas of caramelized orange, fresh baked spice.
This is darker than warm amber.
Flowery notes of orange blossom and cut grass.
All right. Maybe after you proof it down, you get the cut grass. I'm not getting the cut grass.
It also says the palate is infinitely complex flavors of toasted cedar, 5-spice, salty sunflower seeds, and cinnamon, supported by rich chocolate-covered cherries, buttered popcorn, and lingering spicy fruit jam character. With a finish that's long, with drier notes of sage, mint, and a little toasted coconut.
All right, they got into the fucking weeds on their gum bumping descriptions on their flavor notes here. Come on, guys.
You know
Narrow
what?
it down for people like me that have a limited intelligence.
So before we get into anything specific, I'm kind of going back and forth. Our tried and true Glencairn glasses.
Yeah.
The nose is amazing on it. These glasses that we're considering doing some custom Savor the Burn glasses for, it's got a great nose to it.
Yeah, I think it's the same, man. It's just, for whatever reason, this one here punched me in the nose with the proof just now.
I mean, the clank doesn't ring.
Clank does not ring. Let me try it down here. It's dead, man. That really bums me out. But the difference, even a third of the way full, it still rings. Rings like a bell. Well, that's one strike against it. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's out. It's thicker.
We don't have to run out and buy the t-shirt tomorrow.
Right. It's a thicker
it is a thicker glass.
gauge.
And
I work with sheet metal people. Like, we call that a gauge.
Yeah.
The thickness of the glass is definitely thicker.
So I think two things.
Probably more stable.
You've got a thicker glass, which should make it a little sturdier.
Yeah.
But honestly, we have clanked the hell out of these, and
There's been a few times where it's like, oh God, I hope I didn't break it.
the other thing is this little base on there allows us to hold on to it, which then means that there's no dampening of the ring.
Yeah.
There's nothing to really hold on to.
Yeah. We can grab it down here on the bottom.
But yeah.
I mean, if your wrench hits the ground and you get a high-pitched ting, that means you got some good, high-carbon steel wrenches.
Yeah.
They're probably, Craftsman or...
Is that a showstopper?
Snap-on.
I don't think so.
No.
But
no. It's not a deal breaker.
it's just one of those, oh.
It's not. Right? It's like, meh.
But that's all right.
She got boobs, but she got no ass. I was going to make a joke earlier. You talking about where to find Santa Fe liquors. And like you go down there, you turn left, and there's a strip mall. I was going to say you find the best women at strip malls. But then I'm not sure you can find a good woman at a strip club. Are you checking the timer mark here to like figure out where to edit shit? Because I'm always talking about something I shouldn't. Family show. Let's get it on the on the palate, because this is.
Here's to the Kansas City Whiskey Guild.
Yes, cheers to you guys.
That does not drink like 142.6 proof. It's got a little bit of a bite to it, but guess what? It's a straight rye.
Yeah.
It's going to. If it was 86 proof, it would still have a rye bite to it.
Yeah. What I like about this is on the nose. I'm not sure we talked about what we experienced on the nose.
Oh, no. We kind of skipped right over it.
It actually has the rye grain smell to it.
Yeah.
Which is
it's got rye, that orange.
fairly uncommon for me anyway. I hardly ever find it actually smells like a handful of the rye grain.
On the nose, I'm getting a little bit of a burnt orange.
Okay, right.
Like a torched orange.
I was getting some
citrus.
Some citrus and even some chocolate on this one.
Yeah, a little bit of chocolate
on this one.
Maybe a little bit of honey.
Honey, baking spices, and then after that it kind of gets a little hazy. I never did pick up on what they call it, grassy notes. Cut grass.
This does not have cut grass. I think on this one, even if it's the same mash bill as their Bottle and Bond straight rye, this one, because of the elevation in the proof, I think it's helping that rye to just punch right on through. And because your grassy notes are going to come from your barley in the mash bill.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there is barley in this mash bill, but there's so much proof on there. Coupled with a strong rye presence, you're just not getting it.
Yeah. Switch over here. I doubt on a different glass, I doubt palate would be any different.
Yeah, palate should be.
Because it's juice to tongue or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, the proof takes over the mouth.
Yeah, it does.
The proof takes over the mouthfeel, and like it arrests the tongue, and then it takes a few seconds for it to fucking air out of your mouth hole. But maybe that's what they're talking about, hazmat bottle, because of the proof
that's
on that.
The finish is long.
Right. Once that proof dissipates, you still got the Kansas City hug that's just all over the place with that rice spice. On the finish,
that heat's still bubbling.
Yeah.
There's
on the
still
finish, I get your caramelized citrus slice. Is
there a little bit of peanut brittle in there?
We talked about peanut brittle a year ago. I don't think I've had it since. There very well could be, and I'm just missing it because my palate got fucking torched. But even with that, as much as
to the hazmat,
as much as it hits you in the mouth, it doesn't burn you on the way down.
No,
it's not talking fucking mad shit on the way down. Fuck you, motherfucker. It's just like
this
warmth.
We talk about a good spirit for a cocktail is 100 plus. Mm-hmm. This is going to make one hell of a cocktail.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to dump all the citrus, all the sweetener, all the
everything you throw at this, it's going to throw
Campari or sweet vermouth or whatever. Yeah,
it's going to be hands right back, hands on sight. Yeah,
you ain't covering up the spirit.
Right. It ain't going to bed early, that's for sure. So on these glasses, because this episode is also about the glassware, the nose is relatively the same. Probably because it bulbs out, it's kind of tulipped and tapered up.
It's like still concentrating it just like the Glencairn glass.
I'm not sure if it's the same diameter here, but it's close enough. It's like it's within
close.
It's within a quarter inch, I would say, and it doesn't affect nose or palate or finish. It couldn't affect finish, and I don't think it could affect palate. But nose for us is very important.
Yeah. It's a great looking glass, and it
is.
And knowing that the nose is very comparable is a big deal.
Like if you poured, much like how I started with my whiskey journey, it was just in like a plastic cup, a solo cup, or it would be in like a rocks glass of some kind. There may be a ice cube in there. It would be 2 fingers neat, or I would throw an ice cube in there, melt it about half, pull the ice cube out. We talked about this, if you've been with us since the beginning, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But maybe you do it too. I don't know. If you do, leave us a comment.
What caramel and sweetness was there has now opened up into more of a vanilla custard kind of a flavor.
Oh, wow.
The rye is still present. It's still there. I'm still getting a lot of that torched citrus in there.
Yeah.
But like I said, any toffee or caramel notes that were there, to me, opens up into more of a vanilla custard.
On the finish, on the back end, it's oak. It's charcoaly. It's sweet. The rye is pretty much gone. Mid palate, it started to taper off super quick and went straight to finish. But before the proof was done, burning me out. But it's still super unique. This would be a perfect. This would not be an introductory whiskey.
No.
But it would be an introductory rye whiskey.
It'll get you drunk though.
If you. Yeah. So right. So if you have somebody that doesn't like rye, don't give them this and expect them to be
someone who loves rye.
Somebody that loves rye,
dude.
Yeah, somebody like me.
This
absolutely.
Is incredible.
I haven't tried out. So you started your journey not liking rye.
I think my first whiskey experience was a rye.
Okay.
And it turned me off.
That's it. I don't want whiskey.
I found my way to bourbons.
Okay.
And wandered all down that trail. Finding my way to whiskeys. Uh-huh. Finding my way back to ryes. I think my beer journey is very similar also. I hated beer.
Because you thought it would all taste like Natty Light?
Well, okay, so I was probably...
Bush Latte?
I was probably 19, pushing up on 20 when I had my first beer.
Mm-hmm. That late?
Baptist. Strict Baptist home. Strict Baptist home, yep.
Not that you are, but the house you lived in, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so, I was... and beer was gross to me. It was actually... Actually, okay, I'm going to back up just a little bit.
All right.
Because, those are gross. When I first came to Kansas City to go to the Art Institute, I was just shy of 19. Mm-hmm. Actually, I had just turned 18. No, I gotta think about this because I'm an August birthday, so I'm on the young end of the spectrum.
All right.
So I had just turned 18 when I started college, and so and I'm sure other colleges are the same way, but particularly the art college, where everyone art supplies are expensive, and artists like to drink. So everyone, and where the Art Institute is located, you could walk 2 blocks to the Quick Trip and pick yourself up a King Cobra or a Mickey's Wide Mouth malt liquor.
Mickey's Wide Mouth.
Malt beer.
Super
cheap. Super bleh. Bleh. I'll drink Miller Lite. I'll drink Mother's Milk any day of the week. But anyway, did not like that. You fast forward a couple years into that, I was at a party right before the end of fall semester, and someone had Boulevard Nutcracker and Boulevard Pale Ale.
Boulevard Nutcracker? I'm guessing it's a Christmas release?
Nutcracker is their Christmas seasonal release.
Logic.
Yep.
Logic.
It's delicious. But they had that and the Pale Ale, and I loved it. And then I tried the Boulevard Wheat. And I loved it.
Right, that's some good stuff.
And then that kind of opened up, what is a craft brewery? What is a microbrewery? What a whole world of beer that's way better tasting than your Bud Light, Budweiser, Coors, Michelob Ultra, your premium beers, your domestics.
I remember there was one called Michelob Dark.
Oh, yeah. I don't think they make it anymore.
They don't. They don't, unfortunately. Last one I had, I was probably 13 or 14. It's been that damn long. So we're talking 93, 94, something like that. And it was, I just remember like, this is really good. Mm-hmm. Hey, Dad. I need more.
Well, you fast forward several years, and then there's an app that comes out called the Untapped beer app, and then
when I was a kid, we didn't have apps,
and then you fast forward a couple
on our phones,
and then
we had rotary phones.
A couple years beyond that, I've checked in just shy of 3,000 beers.
3,000.
Yeah, I'm on like 2,900 unique beers. Not total check-ins are way like. Probably double that. But
I'm glad I've been responsible for at least 5 of those beers. You damn dirty lush. Look at you go. 3,000 of them. I didn't know it was 3,000 of them. What, you get hit in the nose with the proof? It keeps hitting me.
No, that was a beer.
Oh.
3,000 beers.
Yeah, no thanks. Yeah, 3,000 bottles of beer on the wall. 3,000 bottles of beer in my app.
Take down a 6-pack.
Share it with your friends. I think on the next one, I'm going to pour a little bit less in each glass.
Woo!
Yeah. I'm getting the yeehaws off of this one.
I need to give some numbers. Have you gotten the numbers yet?
Yeah, I got my numbers. I got them all written down and figured out.
What did you give it on the nose?
On the nose, I give it a 4 even. It was more than I expected in a rye. It's way more than average. Average would be right at 2.5 if you're going from 0 to 5. And that's how we do our ratings. By the way, we haven't talked about our ratings in a while. So what we do is we rate these guys, and we rate each bottle in 4 different categories. We got nose, palate, finish, bottle presentation. We take our 0 to 5 rating, we add them up, divide by 2, and that's how we end up with our final rating. So coming in on the nose, I gave it a 4 even. It had plenty to offer on the nose. There was chocolate. Did you pick up on the barley, on the grassy note?
I did not.
I did not either. But
that was what I was saying is, I based off of what I've pulled and know about this, I'm fairly certain this is the same mash bill as their bottled and bond straight rye whiskey.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's going to have the same percentages of rye.
I thought I tasted wheat.
And
Does it say anything in there about wheat?
I have no exact mash bill information. I'm positive there's no wheat on this mash bill.
You're positive? No wheat. Wow. Okay. So I guess all the grain kind of feeling I'm getting off of this, because I used to buck hay when I was a kid from time to time, and something you do growing up here.
And I may be completely wrong. So
that's fine. I mean,
if there were
about everything,
if there were to be wheat on this, I feel like typically if there's wheat, that makes it a 4-grain spirit,
and that would be something they would label. They would talk about, like, hey, check us out.
Right.
Okay.
Because typically when that happens, this is a 4-grain rye.
Yeah, but I mean they've talked about grassy notes, so they're hinting at the barley, and it's rye. So what's left? Corn.
Yeah.
Maybe they put corn in there.
You're gonna have corn. You're gonna have rye, and you're gonna have barley or malted barley.
I like malted.
Typically, I think it's malted barley is what you end up finding.
I like these malted grains when they do that in there. Like, so when you malt a grain, we've looked it up and come to find out it's they take they soak it in water just long enough for it to sprout.
Yep.
Just to begin to sprout, and then they dry it off.
Yep.
Then they grind it, and then they throw that in a big container with the water and let it ferment.
I mean, it changes it just enough to where it gives it a different characteristic.
Yep. And this doesn't nose, it doesn't palate like malted rye. It just tastes like just straight, just fucking dry grains, and it's just...
We're gonna fight rye.
Hopefully not, but if we do, we're gonna be friends afterwards. We're gonna fight.
This is a good pick, though.
Yeah, and it palates well. I mean, for 142.6, it palates well. This would, like we said, it would be great in a cocktail. Even proof down with a dropper. You know, like, I don't know how many drops is in that much of it, but just a dropper full. For me, the grain note on the rye, it brought it even more to the forefront.
And I know we're in the thick of summer already.
Yes.
But if you feel a cold coming on, get yourself a pour of this.
Yeah, don't keep Southern Comfort in your medicine cabinet anymore.
It's just going to kill everything.
You don't need it. You need a hazmat bottle of the Kansas City Whiskey Group Rieger Straight Rye Whiskey. Now, you asked me on the nose. I gave it a 4. You gave it a what?
I gave it a... You gave it a what?
I gave it a 4 even.
I think we flip-flopped because I gave it a 4 1/4.
Oh, okay. All right. How about the palate?
The palate, I also gave that a 4 1/4.
Okay, so for me, the palate had so much of a tongue lock, super grip hold on it. That was a bit of a distraction. It's not the whiskey's fault. It's not the whiskey group's fault. It's just, for me personally, it was a bit of a distraction. I think it was hard for me to taste anything when my senses were being assaulted.
And I think for me, I read it. I read it again. I was prepared. I braced for it. And I took it head on.
When that grip on the tongue, on the palate left, like as soon as it released, you got all those flavors.
Yeah.
All those flavors that were right there. But
my tongue was, I can't taste it.
Right. This was like a car battery to your tongue. Like, you take...
You've left your tongue on the 9-volt battery too long.
Yeah, I'm looking for something, quote, normal. Blanton's, right? This would be like a 9-volt to the
94.
tongue. A 94 volt. No, a 9-volt to the tongue. This was like a fucking car battery to the tongue. Running from a running car. So anyway, so like I'm sure all the flavors
Or
were
like
happening
or
under
like
it.
when you're like chugging along the lawn and you're mowing your grass and you look down and you see the lead to the spark plug and it looks a little loose.
You reach down there and try to make sure it's on.
You don't even think about it. You're like, oh, that looks loose. I'm gonna reach down there and crimp it a little tighter so it's got a good connection.
Woo, way back in high school, back when the Earth's crust was still cooling and mountains were forming on this void.
Are you making a beard reference?
No, I'm just talking about back
My gray beard.
when I was in. I got
My
gray,
Gandalf.
I got gray too. Yeah, it's not Gandalf. Hopefully, I'll get there one day. Palate, I gave it a 3 3/4. I did not give it the 4 1/4 because of that arrested lockup of the palate because of the proof. Okay. It was so much of a distraction. But like I said, the second it started letting up, that's when the taste, all the flavor of the palate started moving in. But the palate didn't necessarily last that long. So while it's being assaulted, like if it's being assaulted, like if you've got first palate, mid palate, finish, we'll say first palate through half of mid palate was locked up in the grip of that proof. Halfway through the mid palate, the bite of the burn started to taper off, and that's when are you getting this? That's what it was starting to do with the flavors. They were starting to come in, but that only lasted so long before the finish came along, and the finish is, kind of a gray area, but it's like the finish was long, it was sweet, it was fine to me. That's why I gave it the finish a 4 even.
All right.
How about you?
4 even.
4 even. Okay.
What was your finish?
It was 4 even. So we locked in the same on the finish. It was a nice long tapering.
It was a great finish.
Hug.
The taper on there made it super nice because you enjoyed it way beyond finishing the glass.
You notice the rye grain flavor. Yep. You notice the sweetness of everything else that's in this bottle. Yep. And a little bit of citrus. For me, it's still a little bit chocolatey. A decent chocolate, not like the Easter basket chocolate. It kind of tastes like poverty. Like you know what I'm talking about. But this, it's really good. It's really good. I have nothing bad to say about it. So now, bottle presentation.
I kept it at 4.
Kept it at 4?
Yep, same as my other ones.
I kept mine at 4 1/4.
They're all the same bottle, so.
They are the same. This one here, like you said on the last one, I'll read it this time.
However, the toe tag.
Yeah, you got the toe tag. It's a little bit different just because it's a different, group that picked it. But
I like the Whiskey Guild logo.
I do.
It's a cool logo.
It's a cool little shield
with the little.
It's got a deer with a barrel on the top of it, and the KC on the Glencairn style
KC.
thing. It's a really cool logo. I bet somebody out there's got a tattoo of it. If you got a tattoo in it, go to our socials, drop a comment with a photo of your tattoo.
Yep, let's see them.
Actually, if you even if you don't have a Kansas City Whiskey Guild tattoo, I'd love to see if there are any whiskey style tattoos. We know the guy.
Yeah, show us your whiskey tattoo
from West Bottoms Whiskey Company. Their master distiller has Murdoch on his arm or forearm. I think it's not up here hidden. He's got it out in front of God and everybody. So on the back of this label here, in 1919, with the Prohibition coming, J. Rieger and Company owned a massive stock of booze that would soon be illegal to sell. Jacob Rieger's son, Alexander, appealed that he had the legal right to transport every bottle in their inventory to his private residence. So smart. In 1920, federal judge Ferris issued an order allowing Alexander to take home his private stock. It's in quotes here. This bottle of private stock honors the defiant efforts of Alexander Rieger. Mr. Alexander Rieger.
Here's to your defiance.
Yes. Fucking cheers. Empty or not. I love how that one ranks. I don't love how this one just goes mute. It's going to be, if we do choose this glass, it's going to be missed. We're going to think about it. Yeah. So, bottle presentation, you gave it a 4. I kept it. You kept it at 4. I kept it at 4 1/4. So, what did your final score end up being?
8 1/4.
Okay, so you rated this higher, and I have liked Rise for a longer period of my life than you have liked.
Mine were both the same. All right. You mean I ranked it higher than yours?
Yeah, you ranked it higher than mine. Mine is 8. 8 even.
8 even.
Which is not a bad score for a whiskey.
That's
not
a great
Savor
score.
the Burn anyway. So this turned out to be quite nice. So we've been talking about Kansas City Whiskey Guild, and I have it posted in the Kansas City Bourbon and Whiskey Club.
Yeah. Anybody comment?
David says, I have the straight rye, and it's delicious. Now, what David's not telling us is if he has the private stock, or if he just has the regular straight rye like what I have. But
which is the red label.
Which is the red label. Yeah, it's a different label. It looks
Bottle and Bond is a red label. Bottle and Bond Bourbon is a blue label. For those wondering.
Oh goodness. I also posted it in the Whiskey Guild. The folks that chose this bottle. Nancy says, I put the Guild pick and the Total Wine pick side by side. That's a different whiskey. That was a different bottle, wasn't it?
I'm not sure which one she would be referring to, because there's multiple Total Wines. I have 2 of the Total Wines. Apparently, according to Tanner, there's an additional 3.
Well, I'll just go ahead and read it. Nancy says, I have put the Guild pick and the Total Wine pick side by side. Totally different bottles, in my honest opinion. Which is what we're looking for here, Nancy. Yep. So thank you on that, with your honesty. Enjoy your tastings tonight. Let us know what you think of each of them. Miss Nancy, I most certainly will.
Yeah.
We certainly will.
She's very quite possibly referring to the Wildfire. Mm-hmm. The Wildfire is the straight bourbon.
Yeah, that's whiskey. A Total Wine.
So, which makes it a very different pour. Mm-hmm. Proof-wise, those are the 2 that are comparable to one another.
Mm-hmm. So, I guess in summation, this barrel pick of this Kansas City Straight Rye Whiskey is not your beginner's rye. It's not your beginner whiskey drinking experience whiskey. Like, don't do it. It like you're gonna want to look for your average, 80 to 90 proof to experience it. I would suggest try the Jim Beam rye. You get it, and as a starter, it's a nice soft kind of thing. But that's not this. We'll talk about that some other time. Whatever. It's in my DNA. I have to throw love out for old Jimmy Beamy. If you have a friend or family member that digs Rise and would like to surprise them with something special, this bottle is that bottle. It's definitely special. So if you're in the Kansas City area,
and this bottle specifically is only available through Santa Fe Liquors.
Santa Fe Liquors, right up there on Santa Fe in that little strip mall, not club, mall. So definitely go.
150 bottles. So, and when they're gone, they're gone.
That's not a lot of bottles.
It's single bottle or
single barrel.
It's single barrel.
It's not a lot of bottles. 150 is not a lot of bottles. You can get more usually out of a barrel. You get like close to 200. So this
210
one
is at 100 proof. 210 is what they say is on average.
Oh, at 100 proof. Okay. So they chose
proof over quantity.
Yeah.
I am mad at that.
That's a way to put it. I wasn't sure how to say that because maybe they didn't choose proof because of the proof. That's why they picked it. They had to have chosen it because of the taste, because of the overall experience that it has to offer. Otherwise, they would have proved it down, and got more bang for their buck, I guess, on buying it and selling it. But whatever. If you can get your hands on this, and if you are a rye fan, and if you're not afraid of higher proof whiskeys, this private stock straight rye whiskey, J. Rieger Co. from the Kansas City Whiskey Guild is definitely worth checking out.
We double dog dare you.
Yeah, but I might even triple dog dare you. He set it up. I walked into it. So no matter who you are, where you are, what you're drinking, and who you're drinking it with, never forget, keep on burning.